Hey, thanks for joining me for this quick little review of the Range Rover Sport. Now, specifically, this is the plug-in hybrid version, and these things start at 95 grand, but you can easily option them out to up over 120,000 bucks. So for that kind of money, you would expect something pretty darn nice, and you know what? This is pretty darn nice. One thing that I especially like is the way it rides and handles. It's that luxury, plushy, cloudy kind of ride that you would really want from a vehicle like this. And what I think gives it that is its air ride suspension system. Now, when I reviewed the Lincoln Navigator, that was one thing that I said it was missing. I really wanted that air ride suspension, and this gives that ride that you really want from it. And that's despite these big old 23-inch wheels and tires you get on this thing. And every time you get out of the car, you're reminded of that air suspension system. It just goes, lowers down a little bit, makes it nice and easy to get out. One thing I will say kind of quirky is getting into it. It's not hard to get into, but it's got keyless entry, and I feel like the proximity sensor is super duper sensitive. I feel like you could do cartwheels, somersaults, slap the door in the side, and this thing still doesn't open sometimes. It's like you gotta just be right on top of it for it to do anything. And I'm even trying to get my leg up close to the door handle, and it's still not popping open. So that's what I mean. I'll physically unlock it. Sometimes it will do it right away, like when it's in my pocket, but I've had other vehicles where I swear I'm in my kitchen by the front door of the house, and I'll hear cars chirping, beep, bopping outside saying that they've recognized me. This vehicle is the exact opposite of that. But, however, when you do open the door, for me, this thing has just got the right color combination. The materials are nice, soft, supple, so it feels really good. Just kind of invites you in. And I do also kind of like the layout of the screens in here. However, I will say, I like a lot of that stuff, but again, I'll bring up the Lincoln Navigator again. However, this time to compare the two in the sense that they both do so much through the center screens. In fact, too much for me. It's all the vents, the seat controls, so much of the vehicle. They do offer little shortcuts that kind of help with that, but like I said, I'm really not a fan of it. I did mention this is a plug-in hybrid, and with that you get like 50 to 60 miles of EV range, and that's pretty darn good for a plug-in. However, this vehicle is not as efficient as some others because it's big and heavy, so you kind of eat through that EV range kind of quick, and once that EV range is gone, the ICE engine kicks in, and again, it's not as efficient because it's lugging around that battery pack and those motors and everything that aren't being used all the time. So not that efficient, but I will say if you do have a regular place to plug in, really didn't notice it that much. So that wraps up this. Overall, I gotta say, Range Rover Sport, very, very nice, but kind of what you would expect in this price range. So I'll see you on the next one.